Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, a new drug today as we're halfway home of the week. What a big week this is in football and storylines galore. Frangie and Carlyon, La Selva with you on this Wednesday. Always brought to you by our friends at Ricketts Electric. We thank Zach Ricketts and all the folks at Ricketts Electric, the best in the business. You need an electrician. My friends from Ricketts Electric, they are the folks with whom to deal. We're halfway through it. Got a fun show today. Brett Hastings is going to come by and talk all about the Tyreek Hill stuff because there's a lot of legal ramifications.
Without a doubt.
It just by the luck of the draw, we were the team down there. You know, there's 30 other teams it could have been, but it was this one. So, and Tyreek Hill was interesting today. Said he could have handled it better. On the same day, he wants the policeman fired.
Right.
I mean, what an interesting storyline. So, and the truth is, he could have handled it better. And the other truth is, the policeman probably went too far. There's probably sometimes there's truth to both stories. So, but we'll certainly talk about that with Brett Hastings. Look forward to that. We got the State Farm College football report. Shane Matthews, Tom Block, Joe Zagacki. I was thinking about this today. Here's the intrigue of the week for around here. I mean, we love our football around here anyway. You got the Jags, who are desperately wanting that first win after a tough end of the season last year. Then this year they start by pretty much outplaying a good team on the road, but losing the worst way possible. Big mistake late in the game. The other team comes back. You can't do much in the fourth quarter. They kick a 52-yarder to beat you. The most gut-wrenching loss you can have. Florida State, all of a sudden, a team that started the season in the top 10, 0-2 and looking at a pretty good team coming in. Great intrigue in that game. Florida trying to decide which quarterback to play with the coach squarely on the hot seat. If you talk about the intrigue of the weekend, from noon to about 7 on Saturday and from 1 to about 4 on Sunday, how many storylines will come out of this weekend just for Florida State, Florida, and the Jags? Pretty amazing. I mean, if you think about, every football weekend is an intriguing one. But if you think about this one for our teams around here, I don't know what the shows are going to be like on Monday, but who knows what we're going to be saying because who knows what's going to happen in those 3 games. That's 3 games, by the way. One's a 7-point line, one's a 3-point line, and one's a 3.5-point line. Those are your 3 games. So a lot of intrigue.
A lot of intrigue, and there's going to be some severe ramifications if it doesn't go well for any of these 3 teams. Obviously, Florida is at the forefront of that with Billy Napier and his status. But, yeah, the Gators are an underdog in the swamp to an unranked team. That right there tells you where the Florida program is right now. They are an underdog at home to an unranked team in Texas A&M. Obviously, Florida State, an 0-3 start. It's already a catastrophe in Tallahassee, but it really gets embarrassing, and I think it gets concerning long term if Memphis does go in there and win. And the Jaguars need a win. There is a big difference between 0-1. Okay, you can manage 0-1. That's no big deal. But 0-2, the historical data starts to stack up against you. And you'd be 0-2 with a Monday night trip to Buffalo coming up, followed by a trip to Houston. So you'd absolutely be playing with an 0-4 start. So it's hard to believe we're at this point of the season. It may be not so much for Florida, but the fact that Florida State and the Jaguars absolutely need wins this weekend, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So, it is a noon to 7 on Saturday, 1 to about 4 on Sunday. The intrigue around here. Now, we'll do our picks, by the way. We'll do our picks this week. Didn't have them last week.
It was probably good that we took a week off.
Well, I think all 3 of us showed how good we are the first week.
Yeah.
We are very skilled prognosticators.
Yeah, we got sat down for a week.
Yeah, so interesting week coming up this week for sure. So, but again, I thought about it. The enormity of the storylines are amazing. So we'll certainly talk about those coming up on the program today. All kind of other stuff.
Brett's not wearing his DJ Lagway jersey.
No, he's not. He's really not. Yeah, I'm going to ask him about the lawsuits going on. We may have our own lawsuit if Florida loses again. If all 3 of them lose, we'll sue somebody. So certainly we will do that.
I want $4 million in punitive damages for every interception Graham Mertz throws on Saturday.
So that comes up in a bit. So we'll welcome in Brett in about 10 minutes or so. We got a lot of fun things to talk about as we kind of move along. The NFL's it's almost a chippy start to the NFL season. Did you see where Kyle Van Noy is ripping the Chiefs' medical staff?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody does that. I mean, do you get the sense that everybody's kind of chippy these days? I
do, and it's interesting. The ratings are incredible. The NFL announced they average 21 million per game in viewership, which is just astonishing. Yet offense is down, and I mean, I think you sense it. One of the things that we'll get to later is there's a bunch of 0-1 matchups in the NFL this week, featuring some teams. Obviously, Jaguars-Browns is one of them, but there's several others that have teams involved that you wouldn't necessarily think would be there that need a win. So there's some uneasiness certainly, and half the league lost over in week 1. So all of those markets, all of those locker rooms, there is a sense of unease because 0-1, no big deal. Just rebound, get a win, get to 1-1. The teams that go to 0-2, it is a tough road back. Not impossible, but it's a tough road back.
Here are the AFC teams with a loss. The Jags, of course, have a loss. I think the Jags have a pretty good football team. The Colts and the Titans, we will see in that division. The Raiders and the Broncos have a loss. I'm not sure either one of them have a particularly good team. The Bengals have a loss. I think they do have a good team. The Jets have a loss. Or the Jets and the Ravens have a loss, and they're a very good team. Are the Jets a good team?
I think the Jets are a little bit above average. I think they're going to come in between 8 and 10 wins. Yeah. Something like that, assuming Rodgers stays healthy the whole year. Their defense is, I think, absolutely elite. I still am curious to see if offensively, with Nate Hackett as play caller, if they can muster enough. And if Rodgers has enough. He showed moments the other night, but it wasn't enough. And San Francisco, who I think is incredible, I mean, just absolutely gutted them. So, we'll see. But I don't see an AFC contender in New York.
Yeah, I maybe they're better than I'm giving them credit for. I can't get there. I told you that before the game.
I was surprised how many people in the preseason were like, I've got the Jets going to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, if you just want to pick something different, fine. But it was like almost everybody's like,
everybody's got them in the playoffs.
Pick.
Some have them in the Super Bowl surprise pick, but everybo's got them in the playoffs. And boy, I just don't see. I mean,
it's a tough division. I mean, you got to obviously deal with the Bills and the Dolphins, and I mean that's the thing in the AFC. You've got to win your division because it's so deep. You can't count on getting one of the 3 wild cards. You've got to go win your division and seal it up, and not have to worry about scoreboard watching.
Yeah, so we'll see. We're gonna hear from Gabe Davis in about a half an hour. Gabe's a good guy, isn't he?
He is.
He's very matter of fact.
Yes, he is.
You ever notice that about him? Very matter of fact.
Yeah, good guy, and obviously had 3 targets the other day, caught all 3 for 62 yards. So, a good first outing, I'd say, for Gabe Davis, and certainly something to build upon.
Yeah, so we'll certainly see what happens today. Let's take a break. When we come back, though, the Tyreek Hill story is really interesting. Is there a lawsuit in the offing? He says there might be. On what grounds can he sue? Does he have a good chance to win? Nobody knows that stuff better than our buddy Brett Hastings. It's Sports and Courts, sponsored by the Hastings Injury Law Firm. That is next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Step into another football weekend with Pregame Friday.
You got to go up-tempo with urgency.
Absolutely. Get the news, notes, and inside stuff you need to get ready for game day. Brought to you by MyBookie and Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Are you still asking the question, why Arlington? Lucky for you, I've got all the answers. Mia here. Arlington's lot is packed with new Toyotas in stock in one location, ready to go home with you today. 60-day exchange. That's 60 days to love your new Toyota purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Worried about financing? There's the Arlington Credit Helper. You even get a complimentary car wash with every service. So instead of asking, why Arlington, I'm going to ask, why aren't you here yet? 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or at arlingtontoyota.com.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make the move to Local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour with benefits that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer. When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins DUI defense firm.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, most goals we set for ourselves have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Las Vegas. So you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and you book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. Look, we've all been there, and it stinks. Know what I say? Stop trying to do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 26 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss, except when referring to a 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy and do it today.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50, $70, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, counselor is here. How are you? You good?
Doing great. I docked the boat up out here in the parking lot, and made it.
All right, the Tyreek Hill situation is crazy. You've had a lot of stuff to talk about in this program. Maybe none more interesting than this one. You saw, by now we've all seen the video. We all know the case. I won't review it for everybody.
And there's a couple of videos because there were a couple of body cams that came out. And if some of the listeners haven't seen those are the ones I think you want to see because you actually get the interaction between the officer and Tyreek.
So long story shorter, Tyreek Hill was pulled over on his way to the game when the Jags played the Dolphins. He was told to get out of his car. I'm going to mess it all up. But essentially, he rolled the window up. That ticked off the cop. The cop said get out of the car. He was doing it more slowly than the cops wanted. So one of the cops grabbed him, pulled him out of the car, put him on the ground, put the cuffs on him. Then later, the cops told him to sit down. He said it was hard for him to because he just had knee surgery. So the cop, quote unquote, redirected him to the ground. Now one of the cop has been suspended. One of the policemen have been suspended. Hill and his representation, once the policeman, the array of policemen fired, Hill came out today and said he could have handled it better. You've seen all of it. You've seen all the videos. You've lived this world. You're the lawyer. What's going to happen here?
All right. So these types of cases are what we call civil rights cases, and they come under 1983, which is the United States Code. And you have a right to be free from being, improperly detained, for the police to use excessive force against you, what have you.
Okay.
That's real important to know because these are litigated in federal court, okay? Take Tyreek Hill out, big celebrities like Hays Carlyon and Frank Frangie. The overwhelming majority of these cases don't even get to a trial because the plaintiffs lose on what's called summary judgment.
Okay.
So they're tough cases to bring. Now, here's what's important about them. Are there a lot of damages here for Tyreek Hill? I don't really think there are. But what's important with 1983 actions is that nominal damages allow for attorney's fees to be awarded. And so they encourage these types of lawsuits to be brought forward so that if somebody's misusing their power, right, there's an incentive almost to go out. Because the average person, or if it's just you're not Tyreek Hill, but you don't have access to lawyers, that would, quote unquote, provide access to lawyers because if it's a really strong case, there's a high likelihood that, the agency is going to end up paying for your attorney's fees. So is this going to go forward? I don't think it is. Okay. My take on it, everybody kind of, showed the rear a little bit in the encounter. Here he's driving past, you're driving fast. You have a reasonable suspicion to pull him over. Okay. At that point, you do want to be concerned with officer safety. All right. He was indignant in the way that he interacted with the officer. Okay. Was it enough to be put down on the ground that he was? I don't believe it is. The one thing that I think would be a really big issue if you went to litigate it or you went to the trial is he said, keep the window down. And all of the safety procedures and protocols for officers is they want to see what you're doing.
Right.
You don't know if you have a gun in there or anything. And if anybody sees the video, what is he in, a McLaren or something? He's not going to be a sympathetic plaintiff, right? Because you're going to end up with a jury in South Florida of people who don't know who Tyreek Hill is.
Right.
They're going to say this guy's in a $1.25 million car. He's not listening to the officers. But the safety issue that I saw there from the officer's perspective, okay, was, I mean, that's the darkest window you could ever see. You cannot see anything that's going on in the car. And so I don't think that's a great case for those reasons. And I do think the officers, used some excessive force, and they didn't need to do the things that they needed to do at that time. I'd be real interested. I did get a chance to review some of the other footage. We all know.
But you saw enough.
I saw enough.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is, did you really detain Calais Campbell? Because he sure didn't seem to be doing anything that created a safety risk, or what have you. And, these are tough situations because when people start coming up, officers don't know what's going to happen, right? And so we want to give them some leeway. And I'll be the first one to tell you, the overwhelming majority of officers are awesome human beings who are out there doing the right thing all day, every day. Now, you do see with these civil rights cases a lot of times, especially when you go back and look at the history of these individual law enforcement officers, it does seem like the guys who create the most havoc tend to do it, more. And so, that's why those cases are important. But at the end of the day, I don't see a lawsuit going forward. I don't see anybody going and, dealing with those issues. I see a little bit more of this pushing back and forth in the court of public opinion. And then I think one day we'll say, what the heck happened at the Tyreek Hill action?
Would Calais Campbell have a case based on his sterling reputation? He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year. He kind of has made his legacy as one of the best ambassadors in football, and now forever there's going to be pictures on the internet of him in handcuffs.
Yeah, theoretically, yes. Are there going to be big damages? No. Would it be one where you think you could go forward and be able to get an attorney fee award? And if that was something that mattered to him from a principle standpoint, I think that would be the strongest case, out of the group. I'm completely biased because I'm a huge fan of who he is as a human being. The things that you talked about would be the things that you would go and show in a trial, but you'd have to kind of prove it up from that point and from that circumstance.
All right, Brett, now back to Tyreek for a second.
But I will say one thing, just not even to cut you off. Do you see how important body cam footage is?
Oh, no question.
Because, otherwise it's a he said, she said type of a thing.
Yeah.
And, I think we all kind of had what happened here? And then once you saw it, you really kind of know what happened in the encounter. There's not a lot left to imagination.
Yeah, no question. So with Tyreek, you outlined it perfectly. Tyreek wasn't a perfect citizen in this.
No.
He pulled his door. He lifted the window up when he was told not to. He didn't jump right out of the car. So shame on Tyreek. But then when they did it, even though he didn't comply immediately, once he was getting ready to get out, then the cop overdid it. I think. So I blame Tyreek first, but then I think the cop overdid it at some point. So I think he's got a legitimate gripe there. So my question becomes, what winds, in your opinion, you don't think there's many damages that are going to take place? Okay. You think maybe legal fees? Okay. If number one, is a cop going to get fired? Is that if the policeman gets fired, does that satisfy what Tyreek Hill wants to have happen? Or Drew Rosenhaus wants to have. I know you don't know, but I'm asking you to guess. You've been around these long enough. Or do you think the union now is fighting back as it's supposed to?
Right.
Where's it going to land? Where do you think it's going to land?
I don't think these guys. I think these guys are going to get disciplinarily written up. I don't think they're going to end up getting terminated. In there. One thing that I'd point out is it's one of the weirdest charges out there, but you see it all the time. It's called resisting without violence. You know what that is? That's being indignant like that to an officer. A lot of times when you're indignant to the officer and they put you down on the ground and you created some measure of liability for them, you end up going to jail. I think, but for the fact after it, they were like, whoa, this is Tyreek Hill. Yeah. Next thing you know, this was a civil citation, careless driving. And that's what kind of, it really theoretically makes it a relatively strong civil rights case in theory. I don't think there's enough damages for everybody to go through it. And I think, you heard him get out in front of it, and his characterization, it was a little bit different than what the video was, right? So I think the PR nature of this, ultimately, you're going to sit down with Rosenhaus and these other guys. I think they're going to talk tough with the police. You're going to see there maybe be some type of disciplinary action with the officers. I don't see a lawsuit going forward. I don't see them paying anybody's attorney's fees, and I see this going away. Okay. Because the guy's a phenomenal athlete, right? We all know it. But he's got a lot going on in his personal life, and I think there's more damage to be done by just continuing to keep this issue out there. I think if they talk about it like he was wanting to, and you work through the issues, and I think we all learned a little bit from it, that's the most value that'll come out of the case.
Torres is a 27-year veteran. I wonder if that fact he's been a policeman in that police department for a long time. You wonder, to Hays' question, does Calais Campbell's background, his very positive background, help him? Now, maybe Torres has been a 27-year veteran that's had other stuff. I don't know. But he's been 27 years on the force. Does that help him? And you don't think anything's going to happen anyway. But, would that be in play, I guess, is my question.
Absolutely. A lot of times what happens, it's just like what we talk about in pro sports, right? There's a police union. There's a collective bargaining agreement. That's right. And so before you could terminate anybody, you have to go through the mechanics of the things that you do there. And he probably shouldn't have done it, right? But I don't know that that's enough to end a 27-year career, right? Stop somebody close to the time of being able to get pension. Go to that. But, the same way we look at the criminal justice system is like we can all grow or come from it. Do I think Calais Campbell's going to want to seek a lawsuit through to do it? No, but he'd want some measure of accountability. And, if we want to learn from the Tyreek Hill perspective, people say all the time, what should I do if the police pull over? Here's the best legal advice. Respect their authority at the time. Right. Yeah. Respect their authority. You're not there to roll over on things that they should be able to know, but no good's going to come out of rolling a window up when somebody tells you not to roll a window up. Right. That is the quickest way that you're going to end up, in jail or in cuffs.
Great work, and you're exactly right. And I agree with you because you tend to always get these right. It's probably going to go away. Right. Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. That is Sports and Courts. Thanks, buddy.
Got it.
When we come back, we'll hear from a brand new Jaguar wide receiver, Gabe Davis, the former Buffalo Bill. A real matter-of-fact guy. What does he think about the fact that they're 0-1? How important is this game coming up? Hays catches up with the wide receiver after this on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our two blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where you can score big all season long.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. You got to check out their cool prop bets as well. They've got all sorts of awesome stuff. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus for a limited time. Yes, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 3-point favorite over the visiting Browns. The over-under is 41.5 points. The Gators are a 4.5-point underdog to Texas A&M in the Swamp, and the Noles a 6.5-point favorite at home over Memphis. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it is a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie, and don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Are you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We at Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
Hey, it's Joe C. My friends at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living can elevate your grilling experience with a durable, high-end grill from great brands like Coyote, DCS, Alfresco, and American Made, and make an outdoor kitchen custom-built to your taste and lifestyle. Visit their local showroom and see all the new displays at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
You dream it, we build it. CSS.
He used to catch passes for Spurrier.
Oh, my! What a great catch in the corner!
Now he throws opinions at Napier. Chris Doring, Tuesday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah on 1010XL.
They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jax, so we gotta play like the experts we are. Now, who are we?
Roland Reach Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reach Plumbing at plumberinjax.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia. AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Now, it's time to showcase the Crown Royals Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally.
Logan Cook was a master chef on Sunday for Jacksonville. The teal and black punter recorded 6 punts that averaged just under 52 yards per punt, with his longest going 67 yards. Simply put, the kicking doctor was in, and you didn't need an appointment to see him. Logan Cook is your Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence spoke this afternoon about Sunday's matchup with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, really good defense. They present a lot of challenges, obviously just physical group. Look at obviously the two edge guys they have, Myles Garrett, Darius Smith. I mean, both those guys are great players. So obviously everybody knows Myles and what he can do, but it's more than just him. It's the whole defense, the scheme. They play fast. They know what they're doing. It's fairly simple. You know, they have some good pressure stuff that's really good, but beyond that, you know, it's pretty simple. They just have really good players. They're well coached. They know where to be, when to be there. They're physical.
The Jaguars host the Cleveland Browns in the home opener Sunday at 1. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
Hi, we thank our friends from Ricketts Electric, Zach Ricketts and the whole team over there, man. If you need stuff done at your home, if you need stuff done commercially, they're as good as there are in the business.
Without a doubt. I mean, that would be my first call. The second something goes wrong in my house, I may even create a problem.
Yeah.
Just so I can have them come out.
You call him
because I like Zach.
904.
I like talking basketball and football with Zach.
904-320-5960. 904-320-5960. He's done so much work for me. I know when he sees my number, I know he's thinking, crap, I got enough stuff to do. I got about 4 trucks out there already, and Frank's going to want about 2 or 3 of them, whatever he's calling about. So he's
got the nicest demeanor.
He hasn't blocked me yet.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Well, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, the best electricians in the business. Gabe Davis is a good guy, the former Buffalo Bill and UCF Knight. Remember, he was born in the area. He's from Fernandina originally, but certainly grew up in Central Florida and went to UCF. Terrific football player. Look, they all took the loss hard. They also have it in perspective. It's 1 out of 17. You just got to get this thing turned around sooner rather than later. But no one's panicking. Earlier today, Hays caught up with Jaguar wide receiver Gabe Davis.
All right, we are pleased to be joined with Jaguars receiver Gabe Davis here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to see you. How you doing?
Good. Just got done with practice, so about to go hit these tubs.
Nice. Good start to the week?
Yes, sir. It's been good. Guys are getting fired up, ready to go for week 2.
How did you feel like it went first game for you, Gabe?
It was good. I felt like we got in a little flow. Obviously, you saw I had a couple catches. I felt like my blocking was pretty well. Felt like it felt good. I gelled pretty good out there for my first game, as a Jaguar. So happy I was able to do that. But, we still got to, get the job done, and the ultimate goal is winning. So we got to win. 3
catches on 3 targets. That's got to make you feel good in terms of that first game with Trevor and having that relationship and that immediate success.
No, it feels good to be able to connect with a guy you just started working with this year, so I'm happy we was able to be on the same page and just keep that stuff going throughout the year and get better and better.
What stands out about Cleveland when you watch them, particularly in the secondary?
They're a tough defense. I remember playing them, I think it was 2 years ago. They got 2 great corners, got a couple of safeties that'll come downhill. The linebackers come downhill as well, fill gaps quick. So overall, it's a great defense. Obviously, they got Myles Garrett on the edge as well. So nothing but good things to say about Cleveland.
In terms of, starting 0-1, certainly not a major problem, but you've been on a lot of teams that have made the playoffs. What is the importance of making sure that 0-1 doesn't become 0-2?
You just got to focus on the week ahead, the week that you're in right now. You can't worry about the past, can't worry about the future. Just got to keep pushing and keep working. You got to know that what we're doing is the best that we're doing, and we just got to keep being consistent.
What do you think in terms of the routine? Are you happy with everything in terms of, offensively? You like the routine that you guys are in throughout the week, getting ready for a game?
Yeah, no, we've been very well. Doug puts us in great spots to be ready for Sunday, so definitely happy with the routine we got here.
In terms of looking at the rush and cover for Cleveland, obviously they've got Myles Garrett. Is there an importance to have maybe more shorter things available in case the Cleveland rush is what it usually is?
I mean, yeah, you can have some short stuff in the game for those kind of things, but I trust in those guys to be able to protect Trevor for whether if it's a 1-second quick pass or if it's a 5-second, deep ball. I trust those guys to be able to do what they need to do to get the job done.
You guys had some outstanding performances from some of your younger players. Let's start with Brian Thomas. What did you see out of that young man?
I just saw him competing. Saw a little dog and saw a little alter ego come out. He doesn't talk much, and I've seen some of that coming out. It's awesome to see. I love that, to play with guys who love to compete and aren't scared to put their voice out there and let guys know that they're going to be there and they're coming. So real happy to see BT do what he was doing.
And Gabe, how important is it for the offense to have 2 really capable backs? We obviously know Etienne's a great player, but to see Tank Bigsby have that kind of performance in week 1, how much can that help the offense?
It's good, yeah. If you can run the ball, if you can establish the run game, it opens up everything else. So the run game's big.
How much are you looking forward to playing a home game in front of the fans here?
I can't wait. I know they'll be there. I know there'll be a lot of people there to support. Obviously, I got my family in town as well. So it'll be a fun game.
Gabe Davis, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate Gabe Davis's time after a long Wednesday practice. He played 50 snaps on Sunday. That actually led all Jaguar receivers, and again was targeted 3 times, had 3 catches for 62 yards. So very efficient day. Again, a lot of good stuff from the offense. That's why it's just so disappointing that they couldn't walk out of there with a win.
Yeah, the one, and they would tell you where they couldn't find the offense was in the fourth quarter. One more drive and they win the game. Well, really, maybe even a few more first downs in the game. Remember, they lost on the last play of the game. Now Miami slow played it at the end.
Right.
Doug was having to call timeouts just to.
I was actually kind of surprised that McDaniel was as conservative as he was when they got to that part of the field.
Well, see, that's today's NFL. You are very comfortable slowly setting up a 52-yard field goal.
Yeah.
That's how the world has changed. 100 years ago, a 40-yard field goal was not automatic.
Yeah, you're trying to get it to like the 23.
That's exactly right. But back in the day, you'd want a 30-yard field goal. Now,
especially when he just missed one.
Well, that's right. He had that's exactly right. He had just missed a short one not long ago, and so they were very confident. Well, and here's the other thing too. It was had they missed, it was overtime. It's not like had he missed, you lose the game. So. It wasn't really house money, but it was 17-17 as they were driving. If they were losing 17-16, I think their sense of urgency would have been more, because then you couldn't risk it then. Again, the worst case scenario, if he misses the 52-yarder, is overtime when you've got all the momentum, right? It's not like the worst case scenario is you lose the game if he misses the 52-yarder. But you're right. There was a very calm. Nobody was in a hurry. They did want to make sure Jacksonville used their timeouts, which they did, and then they wanted to do. Remember, the Jags had used the timeout earlier in the half. If the Jags had one more timeout, then they probably could have made him kick the field goal with 30 or 40 seconds left. Doesn't matter. And I'll say this: the Jags' 2-minute offense at the end of the half was pretty good. I mean, the Dolphins scored late in the half, made it 14-7. Jags never panicked. They had a minute with which to work. Boom, 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 53-yard field goal. And I will tell you, I do get that sense. I'll jinx him by saying this, but I get the sense when Cam Little lines up, he's going to drill it. Don't you get that feeling?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a ton of confidence in him.
Yeah, I think. I mean, listen, they all miss some, but they wind up making them. So we'll see what winds up happening. But I think I will say this, and this is important for the Jags. I've been thinking about this all day today about the Jags. Hays, one thing that is very important, I mean, like in my mind, and critically important is. They have to treat this like they're 0-1, not 1-6. Do not. Yeah, I know everybody. We're all guilty of connecting this to last year, but last year's over. They're 0-1, and I think if you look at yourself as well, we've lost 6 of 7. Then you put way more pressure on yourself. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then there's way more pressure.
Yeah, I don't get a sense that the players really, even the ones that are obviously the new players, it means nothing to the rookies and the free agent additions. Yeah, but yeah, I would agree. I don't think the players are wrapped up in the 1-6. I think that would be more of maybe the coaching staff and things like that, and obviously the fans.
Yeah, right. But I think it's you got to be very careful. You're 0-1. And if you win this game, you're 500, and you're in the middle of the pack in the league. Because by the end of this weekend, there's going to be a handful of teams.
16 teams are losing this weekend.
That's exactly right. And a handful of teams.
So just don't be one of those 16.
Right. So there will be some 2-0s. There'll be some 0-2s. There'll be a bunch of 1-1s. So just be right now, your goals will be one of those bunch of 1-1s.
Yeah.
And I think that's
it's and I think the urgency is there a little bit because Houston's going to host Chicago on Sunday Night Football. And based on it's hard to base everything on week 1, but boy, it looks like Houston has got a big chance to win that game.
You would think.
Based on what we saw from Chicago's offense. So, that's where it becomes key. Houston's going to go to 2-0, it looks like. You can't go to 0-2. You don't want to be 2 games behind Houston right out of the gate. Now, the Jaguars get to play Chicago in London later, so I understand that. But it's not. This isn't everything. It's not even close to a must-win. But it is a game that you'd love to get, particularly with Houston maybe going to 2-0, and you've got the Buffalo and Houston game coming up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, if you get this game, again, the problem with losing this game is you then could be looking at 0-4. That's what you don't want, because 0-4, then people will connect it to last year.
Right.
That's why.
And 0-4 is a death sentence. D-Rock was talking about this in the media room today. So I'm sure he's either tweeted it or going to put it in a story. So credit to Michael Duraco of ESPN. But
don't give it to him credit. It's your stat. Go ahead.
The last team to start 0-4 and make the playoffs was the 92 Chargers.
Really?
So it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in this era of football.
Is that
so
right?
If you start 0-4, history says you're buried.
Now, I would never have guessed.
I was surprised by that, too. I thought it would have gone back to maybe 2009.
Yeah. I would have guessed it wasn't likely, but I would not have guessed it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised.
The last team to start 0-4 and make the playoffs was in 92.
92 Chargers.
Wow.
According to Michael DeRocco, who I think his work is impeccable.
Well, it could be completely wrong.
I haven't gone back and double-checked it.
I'm going to go right now and it's wrong. I'm going to say it was 2016. That's my take on it. So, no, we love D-Rock. So, but yeah, so, and look, they're probably not going 0-4 even if they lose this week, because the way the league goes is you lose this week and everyone thinks you're not very good, and then you go upset Buffalo, or then you go upset. That's how the league is. That's how, again, last year was really interesting. They were coming off a very good finish. They made the Elite Eight 2 years ago, coming off a very good finish. And all of a sudden, you looked up last year, they're 1-2. They lost at home, got gutted at home by a Texans team playing a rookie quarterback, and everybody thought, oh, my goodness, they're terrible. They're no good. Then they win 7 out of 8. It's hard to go 7-1 in the league. They went 7-1. And got to 8-3, and then everybody was making Super Bowl plans.
Yeah, we were talking about home field advantage throughout.
Correct. And then you turn around and lose 5 of 6. So the hills and valleys, the ebbs and flows of an NFL season are very real.
Buckle up.
Yeah, so that's right. But having said all that, the 0-4 stat's real. If what you just said is right, is that is a real stat. And games 3 and 4 are hard games. Now, by the way, they're both winnable games. This is the NFL. The NFL, you got a pretty good roster.
The Jaguars could win the next 3 games. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Yeah,
they've got a good history against Buffalo.
Right.
Buffalo is still trying to find who they're going to turn to in terms of their offensive weaponry, and they've got some defensive injuries. Houston, again, we need to see it. They barely beat the Colts. We'll see about Houston. And look, Cleveland doesn't have an offense right now. So, you'd like to think it's more likely they'll go 3-0 than 0-3. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle there.
Right.
But yeah, this team is perfectly capable of winning their next 3 games. They have to avoid the disaster mistake.
Right.
Because when it happens, they've shown no ability to be able to just compartmentalize that mistake and move on and play good football. It's like everybody on the sideline just says, well, here we go. Now we're all going to play bad because we had this one mistake, and they've got to develop more of a winning DNA when it comes to that, because you're going to make mistakes. It's the NFL's professional football. The other guys are getting paid a lot of money too, but you can't let it just ruin your day. And unfortunately, that's the case Sunday.
Yeah, think about this. Some of those losses last year when that losing skid started after 8-3. They lost a 3-point game in overtime to the Bengals.
On a terrible holding call.
They lost a 4-point game to the Browns. And at the end of the year, they lost that one touchdown game to Tennessee. Now, they had some bigger losses in between there. But the bottom line is they were in the only really, really bad performance was the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay.
Right.
Bucks. Yeah. So you're even last year in your streak, you're not far away. So we'll see what happens. More Jaguar talk coming up as we continue along. But when we come back, let's get into college football. The State Farm College Football Report is next. Shane Matthews talking Gators, Tom Block talks Seminoles, Joe Zagacki on the Canes. That's next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold & Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Ease into game day a full 5 hours before kickoff with the Terminix Kickoff Show.
It's incredible, but beautiful, huh?
Live from Tailgaters Park.
Hey, beautiful, beautiful.
Brought to you by Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harold & Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold & Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. So another Mike, who lost 40 pounds with Awaken 180, was in the same position I was in. And you are most likely confused.
I spent so much money on personal trainers in the last 10 years. Didn't have a lot of discretionary income left. So I tried to listen to everybody else. What do you eat? You know, everyone said, eat healthy. Define eating healthy. Cut out sugar. Tell me what foods don't have sugar. So their process to me was an education. That was really the eye-opening thing to me is I had 10 choices of food in front of me every day. You know, when I was on the run in sales, I was making 8 bad choices. I wasn't eating the 2 good ones. And I loved the 2 good ones. I just didn't know they were good. So I made bad choices every single day. And the program, on Awaken 180, really changed my mind, opened my eyes up to, it was a true education on food, what to eat, what not to eat. And it's been fantastic.
Knowing what to eat and the ability to navigate nutritional labels. A proven, clear path for weight loss. Exactly what you will receive with Awaken 180. Leave confusion at the door and do what we did. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we want it, we got to bring it.
My thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hays Blog on 1010XL.com.
Duck Duck Rooter is currently hiring in all departments. We want great plumbers, CDL drivers, drain field installers, and lift station technicians. If you have experience in your trade and love to deliver a super high-quality level of customer service, you have found the right company. You will enjoy our benefits package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, and working for the best in the industry. Apply at duckduckrooter.com. That's duckduckrooter.com. And click on the careers page. Duck Duck Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence. Served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
This is David Lane. After suffering through several painful injuries to my shoulder, back, and knees, I've taken my issues to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and without fail, they've been a tremendous help toward solving my problems. If you have any orthopedic situations, don't procrastinate. Take action today. Give those aches and pains to the pros at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You'll be glad you did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Are you ready to upgrade your home? Experience the winning combination of style and performance with Renewal by Andersen. Energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Buy one, get one 40% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires September 30th and restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit rbafla.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Well, all the news forecasts say that home prices are expected to decline in 2025. Hey, that's great if you're buying a home. But if you're selling one, you might want to get to it. And when it comes to selling your home, the agents you should trust are Chad and Sandy Newman at chadandsandy.com. Maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not sure how. And you don't want to worry about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. Those things are all out with Chad and Sandy. They're the local real estate experts you can trust, and I recommend for the sale of your home, or for the sale of mine for that matter. Maybe I should look into it. Hey, don't trust me. Trust Jacqueline from Biscayne Estates. My inherited home became a nightmare when it went unsold for 177 days and ended up with a large lien. With expenses mounting for my handicapped daughter and no way to pay, I was desperate. At this point, I turned to Chad and Sandy. The change was amazing. Chad and Sandy sold my home in 3 days at a higher than asking price. Find out for yourself at chadandsandy.com or 904-414-6200.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. A storm is brewing in Bradford as head coach Jamie Rogers and his Tornadoes remain undefeated after their victory over South Sumter last Friday. Hear from Coach Rogers as he caught up with Hacker and Andrew Gibson on the Friday Night Lights show after a smash-mouth victory and how he will prepare for a tough test with Mandarin coming to town this Friday night.
We want to play the best and get ready for the guys in November. You know what I mean? So yeah, Mandarin's a great test. They're probably one of the best teams in 6A. If I'm not mistaken, they may be ranked number 1. So what better test than that? And I know they should be confident. They're really good, but our kids are going to show up, play hard. I know that.
Kickoff is slated for 7:30 Friday night for the undefeated matchup. It's 4:57 at 80 degrees. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on the Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
All right, we thank our friends from Ricketts Electric all the time. Like I would tell you, Zach and company do a fantastic job. The best in the business, my friend from Ricketts Electric. You can always call them at 904-320-5960 for all your electrical needs. We have the State Farm College Football Report coming up in just a bit. We'll start it off with Shane Matthews when we were able to track Shane down. He's around the corner. We certainly know about that. And again, what an intriguing weekend, Hays, for the teams around here.
Absolutely. I'm really interested in hearing what Shane thinks about DJ Lagway versus Graham Mertz and the decision that Billy Napier will have there. And also just get his thoughts on, he's been on a ton of teams, not just the Gators. He had a long NFL career. And I think locker rooms do pick quarterbacks. And I'm curious to see if Shane has any sort of vibe on, does he feel like the locker room, and again, it's not that they're for or against somebody, it's just where does the team gravitate towards? Because I feel like the team seems to gravitate towards Lagway. And I'm curious to see what Shane thinks about that as well.
Yeah, and I will say this: Graham Mertz he's from by all accounts is a good leader, respected, good guy, good person. But by all accounts, it really does seem he's a respected guy now. I mean, very much so.
Yeah, and that's not to slight Graham Mertz. I just think he's 24, 25. There is a difference in where you are in your growth as a person between like being 18, 19 years old, which is the majority of this roster, and being 24, 25. You're just in two totally different places. You can be great teammates, but my guess is, just from a personal connection, Lagway probably has more of that than Mertz does. But again, I think Graham Mertz has been a fantastic Gator, and hopefully he has some great moments left. Right. But man, it'd be hard for me to keep DJ Lagway off the field.
Yeah, and I think that is generally the belief. All right, so we'll get Shane Matthews. We're trying to track him down. Shane got tied up a little bit, it looks like. So let's fire it up there, JJ, will you?
Time now for the State Farm College Football Report with Shane Matthews on the Gators, Tom Block on the Noles, and Joe Zagacki on the Canes. Presented by your local State Farm agent.
All right, let's start with the Noles this week. State Farm agents Craig Dewhurst, Ramey Alaboo, Margie Williams, Scott Hobson, Brandon Thomas, Tiffany Mapp, and Randy Taylor sponsor this. Tom Block checks in as always he does from the Seminole Radio Network. Tom, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Frank?
We are doing fine. All of a sudden, gigantic game in Tallahassee for Mike Norvell and the Noles, a game that in July looked like would be an easy trip to 3-0. Now it's a little bit of a dangerous trip to avoid 0-3. What's the mindset, the mood of the Seminoles this week?
Well, I know it sounds cliche, and you're right in the way you're describing that. because there's pressure because they haven't produced thus far. But I really do think the adjustment, it's less about Memphis and more about FSU. I mean, they have not been good. Pick a position. Other than place kicker and punter, there's a ton of room for improvement across the board. And the thing I see, and I don't know how quickly you can develop this, I haven't seen a ton of leaders. And that's not to say that they don't have it in them. I don't know if it's just that there were other dominant personalities that were there last year, and so the guys that remained didn't have to step up, or it's new faces. But there needs to be a little bit more leadership from what I see and a little more accountability. And then guys just need to play. Not 75%, just go 100%, even if it's the wrong direction, and go out. And then one of the things Norvell's been emphasizing is just have fun. Somehow that's gotten lost a little bit. I think they felt some pressure in the way to expectations. But at this point, you're 0-2. Just go play ball.
Tom, what are your expectations for this FSU pass defense? Because we really haven't seen anything in terms of Georgia Tech and Boston College, but Memphis has a senior quarterback that's thrown for 82 touchdowns in his career. So how do you think the secondary is going to hold up against a team that is probably going to want to throw it a whole lot?
Yeah, well, I would hope. Well, I mean, that's going in. I think the thought here was that the best segment group on Florida State's team was probably the secondary, but because of the way these first two games have played out, I mean, we haven't mentioned cornerbacks' names at all, really, because they haven't been tested. I mean, there's been a lot of passes to the running back, the tight end, but I think the first two opponents, they threw like 15 or 17 passes, right? So I actually like that matchup for FSU because it's really more strength against strength. Now, I realize you can be careful what you wish for on that because Memphis is one of the better group of 5 teams out there with a veteran quarterback. But I'd like to see what FSU has. That is their deepest position. It's the position they've recruited the best since Norvell got to Tallahassee. I mean, there's several players deep, all with if you get into stars, all with plenty of stars, right? So let's go ahead and see what they have.
Final thing, Tom, obviously we can't do this report without asking about DJ Uiagalelei. He's the quarterback. And Lord knows FSU's had bigger problems than just the quarterback. He's been okay at times. But I'm not sure he's elevated him either. 2 young quarterbacks behind him. Do you get another quarterback ready? Do you get Luke or Brock Glenn ready? Or is this season sink or swim with DJ? And I know it's early. It's been 2 games. That's probably not a fair question. But where are you on quarterback?
Yeah, well, in terms of getting another one ready, it would be Brock, not Luke. I mean, Brock, I think, is the clear number 2. He played some last year, and he's got a year more in the system. Even though he did miss about 6 weeks of the season last year in reps because he had I think it was a broken thumb. But I think DJU is who they go with. I think the leash gets shorter each week, and maybe you get a package or you get a drive or a series or 2 for Brock just to start getting him in there, which does not mean that you benched DJU. Just means sometimes if he got to that point, like it's going to be uncomfortable if the offense goes out there Saturday and Florida State goes 3 and out the first 2 or 3 possessions, right? So I think you got to have something to kickstart the offense without turning the keys completely over to Brock if you get there. And then longer term, to your point, I mean, at some point, if you're 5, 6, 7 weeks in, you really are playing for the future. And so why wouldn't you play the younger guys at that point? We're not at that point right now, so I think it's have a plan for the number 2 guy, but still stick with DJU.
Tom Block checking in from the Seminole Radio Network. Thank you, Tom.
You bet, guys.
All right, now let's head to Gainesville. Shane Matthews checks in from the Gator Radio Network. His report is brought to you by State Farm agents Ron McCann, Mike Tozel, Caitlin Duggar, Jason Judy, Catherine Boustert. So, Shane, I was thinking about this. Here's my theory. You ready for this, Shane?
Let's hear it.
Almost every Gator quarterback, there's been some competition, controversy. There was Werfel and Dean. There was Leak and Tebow. There was Rex Grossman and Brock Berlin. There was Doug and Jesse. Everybody but Shane. You're the only guy that beat them all out. Okay, you're the only. You never had that. Everybody else had that. So there's that. Shane, what do you do at quarterback? Obviously, DJ Lagway made some plays above the X's and O's. I love Graham Mertz. I know you do too. But I don't know that he's got the same skill set, yet he's veteran. What's going to happen at quarterback, and what do you think should happen?
Well, that's why Billy makes a lot of money to make this decision. DJ's got a lot of skill set, but, people ask me, how could Billy not started DJ beginning of the year? I said, well, if you would have saw him practice, you would not even thought he would play this year.
Right.
Because, he'd make a splash throw, and then 7 into triple covers, he got intercepted. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to play him. Now, he may be a great when the lights come on. That may be him. You know what I mean? Again, I thought he made some really good throws. However, I thought Stanford was one of the worst FCS teams I've seen in a long time. They usually have dudes. They had no dudes. So let's let it all play out. I think they both play. I just hope Billy calls the game like he called it against Stanford. Did he call it like that because he knew we could probably block them and we could run by them?
Right.
Because he's never called that many shot plays in a game.
Without a doubt. Shane, defensively, what do you think Florida has to do well to beat Texas A&M?
Well, it all comes down to the front seven. I sound like a broken record. A&M's not great on offense. You don't know how Connor Wigman's going to play. They got a couple pretty good backs, but I feel like A&M's going to buckle their chin strap and say, look, we're going to try to run it right down your throat. So it's going to come down to a line of scrimmage in this game. Whoever wins the line of scrimmage will probably win the football game.
Shane, is this Florida team, are they confident? Because the fan base isn't. Those of us watching it want to be confident, but if we're being realistic here, we don't know what they've got there. What about the team? What about Billy? I mean, they had all the belief in the world before the season started. Mentally, where do you think this team is?
Well, I said it before our broadcast. One of the keys to the game were let's go have fun. It's been a miserable week. Everybody needs to have some fun. We had fun in the swamp, but reality sets in this week when an SEC caliber team with talent rolls in. I think they're confident. I mean, look, we're going to need to see how this team. I said it last week on your show, Frank. I got caught a lot of grief because I always said the offense was not the problem. Well, it wasn't last year. There's three phases of football: offense, defense, special teams. Special teams was awful. Defense was beyond awful. Offense was good enough to win games. Well, special teams has been outstanding this year. The other two phases, I'm still not sure about, and they're going to need to play well because this is a must-win game, or it could get ugly.
Well, that's just it. That's the bottom line. As you hit it, this is a must-win, or the ugly is going to be about as ugly as it's been in Gainesville in a long, long time. Shane Matthews checking in from the Gator Radio Network. Thank you, Shane.
All right, guys, take care.
Let's head to Coral Gables, where Joe Zagacki is the terrific play-by-play voice of the Miami Hurricanes. Man, oh man, nothing's ugly down there, Joe. People are just happy, sitting around palm trees, going to the beach. Life's good if you're a Miami Hurricane fan. Boy, the Canes look good early on.
Drinking pina coladas and listening to the Gators talk about how miserable it is. It can't be much better than that, can it?
You're exactly right about that. Listen, A&M's not very good. Ball State's not very good. We'll see what happens when you get to Tampa eventually to play South Florida. But you can only play who you play. And I've been really impressed. I mean, I do this all the time. I get ahead of myself, and you slow me down. But, boy, it looks like a good Miami team, Joe. And I know it's been just 2 games, but does it feel that way to you?
Yeah, I think they're good. I think they're really good. It's amazing what talent, extra talent, does for your team, especially veteran players. And that's what's been contributing. Cam Ward's been outstanding, has completed 75% of his passes. He's looked really good. Damian Martinez has been as good as advertised. Hasn't hit the 100-yard mark yet, but he's only carried the ball 26 times in 2 games. The tight ends, Arroyo and Lofton, have been as good as advertised. On defense, the defensive line without Bain has been sensational. So far, so good. It will get tougher as we get going here. Ball State. Miami should be able to handle them okay. And then next week it'll be fun going to South Florida. That'll be a good atmosphere, night game, a little bit of a trap game. So we'll find out a little bit more about Miami. But so far, they look really good. And I like the way I like their approach to the game.
Joe, did Notre Dame do Miami and Mario Cristobal a big favor by getting upset by Northern Illinois? Because now you've got the perfect example to tell your kids, look, this can happen. I don't know how good Ball State is, but in terms of guarding against, look, you can't take it for granted. We've got to go out there and execute.
Yeah, no question. And I think Northern Illinois did help out the University of Miami a little bit. These MAC teams, they've always had a good formula, and that is their veteran teams. Especially in basketball, but also in football, I think the MAC can give teams problems because typically they would have their players in the same system for a long time. Like this squad, Ball State, their offensive line together, they've got 117 starts. That being said, because of the transfer portal, teams in the MAC, I think, are starting to lose their players. Their best players, they want a chance to play up. And so I think this team got hit with some portal players. They lost some portal players, brought some guys in, probably not as good as they were on defense a year ago. Last year, their final 6 games held their opponents to 15 or 16 points, 6 opponents under 100 yards rushing. I think they're going to have a tough time, holding Miami down on Saturday. But, Miami has to respect them. There's no question about that.
Miami is legendary for great skill. We talk about the physicality, but great skill. Quarterbacks, running back. I know one team that had Ken Dorsey and about 5 NFL backs and Andre Johnson and whatnot. But let me ask you, Cam Ward, Damian Martinez, and Xavier Restrepo is quarterback, running back, receiver. When's the last time Miami had that good? Because these guys, they're all 3 NFL players. Boy, that's a pretty good trio there, Joe, I think.
Yeah, and probably going back to Ken Dorsey and Andre Johnson, Ethnic Sands, who was a pretty good player. Even Dorsey, his wide receivers,
right.
Outside of Andre Johnson, we had Reggie Wayne the year before that. So probably, looking at Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss in that era. But this is a really good group, and behind them, they've got 3 outstanding freshmen, JoJo Trader, Nye Carr, and another player from St. Thomas. So they've got 3 guys behind them that I think are going to be really, really good as well.
Is this the kind? It looks like second final thing. It looks like Mario's got this thing built. Again, it's 2 games. I get ahead of myself, but I'm a radio guy. That's what we do. It looks like it's built kind of how he thought it would be built. Do you see it that way?
I think he thought he was going to have to use more high school recruiting. And I think he thought it was going to take longer because of high school recruiting, that he was going to do it the old-fashioned way, layer one class after another on top of each other. And by year 4 or 5, then you've got the right layering in your classes. But, in today's football, with this revolution that we've had in college athletics, everything gets speeded up. And so he took advantage of this, the transfer portal, able to get older and more physical and bring in some really great players that are upperclassmen. And I think that has been able to speed up this process. So now it's maybe more like an NFL team where the recruits are your draft picks, and you don't want to ever get away from that. You want to cherish those guys, and transfer portal, those are your free agents. Those are the guys that can fill in and maybe put you over the top.
Great start for the Miami Hurricanes with all that combination. Joe Zagacki, the play-by-play voice of the Canes. Thank you, Joe.
All right, fellas, thank you.
All right, that report is brought to you by State Farm agents Joe McGee and Gene Coleman, and that is the State Farm College Football Report. When we come back, Hays has headlines. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Every special teams player waits for his number to be called.
We got this.
After the game, we call the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game.
Game ball, baby.
On 1010XL.
Good job, team. Nimnick Chevrolet is Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. Frank Frangie here. With new shipments arriving daily, Nimnick Chevrolet has the best selection of Silverado trucks on the ground in town. Nimnick Chevrolet is conveniently located on the corner of Park and Cassett Avenue or online at nimnickchevy.com. Nimnick Chevrolet is family-owned and operated. No one cares more about their customers before and after the sale. That's Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are you tired of spiders, ants, roaches, or other pests invading your home turf? Call the winning team at Kingfish Pest Control. Right now, score 20% off your new pest control service when you start during the football season. Also, enter their Swat That Kick Jaguars promotion at Jaguars.com for a chance to win 3 years of complimentary pest defense. Save big and defend your home with Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson.
Welcome to the show, Steve. It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Prosser here, and if you are one of the ones that looks at your backyard area living space and thinks, wow, it needs an upgrade, Lifetime Enclosures is having a huge open house sale this Saturday, and boy, can I tell you, they do an awesome job. Anything from glass or screen enclosures to full-on lanais and flooring, all in one place. The place you want to watch sports, enjoy your backyard, and just hang out could be so much better with Lifetime Enclosures. Come on out to Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring this Saturday, all day. You won't regret it.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Big Sur's here. My cigars are back in stock at Island Girl Gate Parkway. Buy a box and I will autograph it for you. Island Girl Gate Parkway is the place to enjoy a great cigar selection, a full bar, enjoy a daily happy hour from noon to 7 and all day Sunday. Enjoy college and NFL games from noon to 6. When you buy 5 cigars, you get 1 free. Plus, live music Friday and Saturday nights. For upcoming events, follow Island Girl Gate Parkway on Instagram and Facebook at islandgirl.gateparkway.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Jags fans, our holiday pack is back with a special edition.
Trevor Lawrence touchdown!
For the first time, get a limited edition Trevor Lawrence bobblehead plus a ticket to one of our December home games starting at $78. Wow! Whether you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift or want the one-of-a-kind bobblehead for yourself, grab a holiday pack today by going to Jaguars.com/bobblehead or call 904-633-2000 now.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we truly love the game of golf. We invite you to book your next tee time here and enjoy a golfing experience that you might not find at other public facilities. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Football is back. Winning season is back. MyBookie's here to make sure you're ready to cash in on the action. This season, MyBookie is pulling out all the stops with incredible promotions like weekly risk-free boosts on Thursdays, where you can bet without a sweat. If your bet hits, you win big, and if it doesn't, forget it. MyBookie will refund your wager. But that's just the beginning. MyBookie is giving away hundreds of thousands in prizes with their Super Survivor and Squares contests. Get your entries in now for a shot at huge cash rewards. For a limited time, they are bringing back the double deposit bonus when you're ready to get started. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Remember, exclusive giveaways and bigger rewards. MyBookie is the lock of the century. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, and make sure your season is a winning one.
1.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva, and I am Hays Carlyon. We appreciate our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. All right, Frank, the Jaguars back on the field today to start prep for Week 2 against Cleveland here at home. Doug Peterson was asked about Travis Etienne and his, kind of, do you have to sort of, keep him, with his head up and keep his confidence? And Doug Peterson emphasized that he still has high confidence in Travis Etienne, wants him to stay attacking and not play cautiously.
Yeah, he's one dang good Jaguar, man. Travis Etienne is a good guy. I mean, Travis plays hard, plays hurt. Remember, lost his whole rookie year to the injury, never complained about it one time, came back and was fantastic in his second year. Look, he fumbled. And you got to take care of the ball, and everybody knows that, and nothing, I'm not, nor is anybody else going to excuse it. But feed him the ball, man. I think he's one of the really good backs in the NFL. And now you're not going to need him to carry as much because Tank Bigsby's emerging, which means you're going to have him fresh in games 11, 12, and 13. So good for Doug and good for all of them. Feed Travis the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Bad news on the injury front for the Jaguars. Doug Peterson said today that cornerback Tyson Campbell could be headed to injured reserve with his hamstring injury. That, of course, would be a minimum of 4 games missed.
Yeah, and look, he's one of your good players. You just paid him. The hardest thing in the world is to lose your best players. I still contend that's one of the things that hampered him last year. Cam Robinson missed half the games. Christian Kirk missed the last half of the season. Trevor played hurt. When your best players are hurt or out, it's hard, and Tyson Campbell's one of their best players. It's next man up. I get that. Monteric Brown gets the start, but I think you're going to see Jarian Jones compete for that, would be my guess. But it's hard when you lose your good players. There's no getting around that.
Absolutely. Trevor Lawrence spoke to reporters prior to practice today and gave us some really good insight about rookie receiver Brian Thomas. Obviously, one of the highlights of Sunday's loss was Brian Thomas drawing the personal pass interference penalty on Jalen Ramsey. Trevor kind of went into some insight on how that play happened. JJ's got that for us.
The cool thing about him is he's just no moment's too big for him. He's a gamer and just shows up ready to play every time he goes out there. So that's exciting to see as a quarterback. Just some of the plays he made. Doesn't seem like a rookie at all. Has that quiet confidence about him and not always quiet. Like I saw him talking to Jalen after that play in the end zone was pretty cool. So that got us all juiced and amped up just to see that competitive fire come out. I think that's awesome to see out of anybody, but especially a young guy like that with the confidence he has.
Yeah, they may have something special in 7 now. I mean, there may be something special there now. I mean, like really special.
Absolutely, and Trevor went on to say Brian Thomas beat Jalen at the line of scrimmage, and after he did that, the Dolphins noticed it and adjusted. Yeah. So that was, for your first game, to be able to do that against Jalen Ramsey, I really impressive. Good stuff there from Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully, Lawrence to Thomas will become one of the NFL's best connections over the next several years. Let's get it to around the NFL, and we'll start with the Jaguars' opponent on Sunday. Browns coach Kevin Stefanski has ruled out tight end David Njoku, but affirmed that quarterback Deshaun Watson will remain in place for Sunday's game. A couple other injury notes for the Browns. They didn't have either offensive tackle in their loss to Dallas on Sunday, but Jedrick Willis, he didn't practice at all today. They're both dealing with knee injuries. Jack Coughlin was limited, so something to monitor. The Browns, might have Coughlin if he was able to practice today, but Willis not being out there, we'll continue to monitor that. Usually, if a guy can get out there by Friday, you feel pretty good about it, particularly at that position. But the Browns really beat up coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Cleveland is, unlike the Jags, they don't have as much a daunting schedule after this, which will be a hard game for them. They play the Giants, the Raiders, and the Commanders in succession. So they win this game, they're going to be off to a good start no matter how awful they looked against the Dallas Cowboys. So But I think they don't look like a team that's just coming off a playoff year, do they? They're very good defensively. They may have the best defensive player in the league, but they are flawed in a lot of ways offensively. So we'll see.
Sunday's game features 2 0-1 teams. There are 5 other matchups this week in the NFL featuring teams looking for win number 1. Raiders at Ravens, Colts at Packers, Jets at Titans, Giants at Commanders, and Rams at Cardinals. Any of those teams kind of strike you as particularly needing to win?
Packers are pretty good. I think they'll be okay. I think a lot of those cases, you've got 2 teams that are going to struggle. Now, not all of them, but I think in a lot of you just read off those games. That's a lot of teams that I think a lot of the 10 teams you just read off, I think you're going to look up in week 10 and they're 3-7 or 2-8. I think that's the bottom 16. A lot of them are.
Yeah, I think it's big for the Ravens. They can't get off to an 0-2 start in that brutal division, and I think it's big for the Colts because you're going up against Malik Willis. It's on the road. It's at Lambeau.
Right.
But if you're Indianapolis coming off a tough loss to Houston, you should be able to go to Green Bay and beat Malik Willis.
Yeah, the drop off between starter and backup is pretty significant in most places. Really significant in Green Bay now. I don't think Malik Willis is a very good player, and Jordan Love is emerging as a very good player. So there's always a drop-off. I don't know that might not be the biggest drop-off in the league, starter to backup quarterback.
Yeah, it's certainly up there. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel has ruled out running back Raheem Mostert for Thursday night's game against the Bills. Devin Achane will be a game-time decision, so something to monitor there if you've got either one of those players on your fantasy football team.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Jeff Wilson, their third back's a good back. He had some good moments in San Francisco. I mean, they have it, and I will tell you, Jeff Wilson not playing it down until late third quarter, that whole fresh legs thing is real. I thought he ran harder than anybody because everybody else was gassed on a hot day in Miami, and he wasn't. So they've got a deep backfield, but it's interesting. Both those first 2 guys might not play.
In Cincinnati, receiver T. Higgins wasn't spotted at practice today. He missed the opener with a hamstring injury. The Bengals play the Chiefs on Sunday. Yeah. Again, Cincinnati's looking for their first win after getting upset by New England. So to not have Higgins, if he's not able to go again, boy, that would be really tough for Joe Burrow.
Let me say this: we've gotten to so much, but there's so many teams in the league, can't get to everybody on a 2-hour radio show. That was one of the big upsets in the league. I mean, people thought New England was going to be terrible. I mean, they are. Some people believe one of the worst 2 or 3 teams in the league. And then they beat a team that most people have ticketed as a playoff team. Yeah, all of a sudden Cincinnati's a team. Look, the Jags lost a road game to an 11-win team that's expected to be a playoff team this year on a 52-yard field goal at the gun. Cincinnati lost to a team expected to be terrible. That's a bad loss for the Bengals. They got to get it going.
No doubt about it. Let's get it to college football. Well, Billy Napier, what will he do? Will he start DJ Lagway or will he start Graham Mertz? Napier was on the SEC teleconference earlier today, and these were his comments.
Well, I think our intention the entire time has been to play DJ in every game, right? And I think obviously he gets a little bit more experienced each week, and certainly for him to have the opportunity to be the starter, pair with the ones, and then go play. And the way he did that, the poise, the composure, I just think it shows that he's ready to do what we intend to do with him going forward. So, it's a blessing to have 2 really good quarterbacks, and certainly one with a ton of experience and one without. There's no doubt both these guys will make us harder to defend. We intend to use both of them.
There's some gamesmanship there because they play differently. And you don't want to show Mike Elko and Texas A&M everything you're doing. But having said that, I would be shocked if Graham Mertz doesn't start the game. I think I would, again, I'll stand my ground on this. I'm usually not the jump on the narrative guy, but this is one time I will tell you I think DJ Lagway should be their starter. I think he should start the game because of the magic he might be, and he might be able to create, and the fact that he's ahead of the game in a lot of ways. But I'd be shocked if Graham Mertz isn't the starter. I think you said it right yesterday, Hayes. He's going to play 2 series, and then DJ comes in a 3rd series, and then they'll alternate the rest of the game. And I wouldn't you be shocked if that's not where it goes?
I think it'll be Mertz that starts. Yeah, I would agree. But I do think, you'll see Lagway early. Yeah. And again, you just sort of hope it matters. Like, will either of them be able to move the ball? I mean, I do think Texas A&M will have a strong defense, so it's going to be a challenge for either one of them. But I'd rather see Lagway out there. But I do think it'll be Mertz, at least to open the game. But we will see. Let's get to our flashback of the day, because on this date, back in 1993, Chipper Jones makes his major league debut. He was 21 at the time, obviously, for the Atlanta Braves. Chipper was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018.
How about that? 1993. You know, Chipper was 1-1, first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
You know what his bonus was?
I do not.
$268,000.
Really?
$268,000.
Wow.
That was his bonus.
How much has that gone up now? What did Skeens get?
He is. I'm figuring $20 million or $10 million. Yes.
Wow.
But I think I think his bonus was $268,000.
How about that? That's incredible. Yeah. So that was one of the things we were talking about today in the Jaguars media room. It's like, gosh, it's hard to believe it's been that long. 31 years since Chipper Jones debuted as a Brave.
You know, that really is hard to believe. That puts it in perspective. We've had a lot of those of late.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Unbelievable. And we will get you out on our musical note of the day. I want to say happy birthday to Aerosmith's Joe Perry, who turned 74 on Tuesday. One of the best guitarists ever, and really, without argument, the greatest American rock band ever in terms of by far, in terms of album sales, the most successful American rock act of all time. You gotta love Aerosmith. You gotta love Joe Perry. This is, of course, Ragdoll.
You know, I will tell you, I was thinking about this when you were playing it. It's a great song, though, and a great band. If you evaluated greatest American bands, and you don't count Springsteen as a band, you count him as an act. You don't count the E Street Band. Yeah, probably Van Halen, Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, but they're probably a distant third, right?
Yeah.
I would probably say this could be the greatest, if it's just a band, probably the greatest American rock band. Well done, as always. We'll take a break. 1 segment to go. We'll have it for you after this.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be heading to upstate New York on Sunday to race at Watkins Glen. It's the Go Bowling at the Glen and the 7-turn circuit featuring 141 feet of elevation change. They'll be running 90 laps on the road course. Kyle Larson plus 750 to take the checkered flag. Shane Van Griesbergen is plus 850. William Byron, who won at Watkins Glen last year, is plus 900 to win this year's race. Tyler Reddick plus 950. Chase Elliott also plus 950. And Ty Gibbs plus 1,300. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
A customer called Duck Duck Rooter saying they had some nasty stuff backing up inside their home. So we went with our camera to look inside their plumbing lines. And sure enough, tree roots in the sewer line. Need to see what's blocking your lines? Call our team to locate the issue and provide solutions to resolve it. 904-862-6769. Visit duckduckrooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Duck Duck Rooter, your fully insured and certified plumbing contractor, residential and commercial.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Attention sports fans, are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the major games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com. Bet anywhere, win here. Only at Best Bet.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, most goals we set for ourselves have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Las Vegas. So you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and you book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. Look, we've all been there, and it stinks. Know what I say? Stop trying to do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 26 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss except when referring to Awaken 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
Pickett here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between the patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence spoke this afternoon about his first game with new center Mitch Morse.
It was great. The communication was awesome. I thought the whole group up front did a great job. Protection was really good. I thought that was a bright spot for us for sure. And obviously Mitch is leading the group up there, and I thought he did an awesome job. Was physical, communicated really well, clearly on the road. It was loud at times, and I think 1 or 2 delay games, and those are on me. I got to move a little bit faster and communicate faster. But as far as him, I thought he did a great job and was very decisive on what he wanted to do.
Trevor Lawrence, courtesy of Jaguars.com. The Jaguars host the Cleveland Browns Sunday at 1 on 1010XL. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
All right, where we been today? Let's cool it down by telling you. Brett Hastings stopped by, talked all about the Tyreek Hill situation. As always, Brett was excellent. And he really gave us an idea of what it means, and he thinks it's probably just going to go away, the lawsuit part of it, and that no one's going to get fired. But it was an interesting take, no question about it. In the State Farm College Football Report Series, Tom Block talked Knowles. Shane Matthews talked about the Gators. Joe Zagacki was here to talk about the Miami Hurricanes. And what an interesting weekend we've got coming up, and the significance of all the games involving Florida State. And the Jaguars, we talked about that. And, of course, Gabe Davis, the Jaguar wide receiver, the subject of a Hays Carlyon one-on-one. We did all that today on the program. Think anyone wants to go to the game?
Absolutely. Big game.
Yeah. Hey, you got in your drawer over there? Got any tickets?
I don't. I'm not well connected.
No ticket, none?
I've got
Nothing?
Jack Squat over here. That's what I have.
Okay. JJ, got any tickets?
I actually do.
Oh, how about that?
Jaguars,
Bails
Browns,
us out again.
this Sunday, 1 p.m.
All right.
I got a pair of tickets.
Right now, caller 3. How about that?
Let's
JJ,
do it.
641-1010. You want to go to see the Jags play the Browns? Why wouldn't you? It's a home opener, for God's sake. Caller 3 right now, 641-1010. And you're headed to see a ball game for sure. Yeah, back to the point we made a minute ago. If Graham Mertz starts the game, what if he starts the game, takes him right down the field, 7-0?
Fantastic, obviously, and the swamp will be electric.
Then what?
Well, you keep him in.
He's got to keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't at that point. I wouldn't bring in DJ Lagway if Graham Mertz is playing. I mean, that the plan obviously going into the year was Graham Mertz is going to have this great year, and they'll work DJ Lagway in when need be.
Right.
But against Miami, a lot of the Mertz deficiencies showed up. Now that wasn't all his fault, obviously. But he doesn't make you defend more than about the first 30 to 35, if that. I mean, really, sometimes in games he really only makes you to defend about the first 25 yards.
Right.
And but I mean, to your hypothetical, I think if the fan base, I think really respects Graham Mertz. Everybody is pulling for
too.
Graham Mertz.
Yeah, well, sort of.
I think so. I mean, if you're a Gators fan hoping Graham Mertz fails so you can see DJ Lagway, I think you're off base.
Yeah,
I think you want. I think ideally DJ Lagway would be the quarterback and would have this remarkable freshman year, and you'd be sort of off and running. But that's probably not how this is going to play out.
Yeah. I think Gator fans certainly should respect what Graham Mertz is. We said it enough times. Everything that's good about college football. Good kid, loves the Gators, glad he's there, and a good player. So when he's out there playing, I don't think anybody doesn't want him to play well. But I do think the minute he misses a throw, the minute there's a 3 and out, the minute you're going to be chomping at the me too, all of us will be chomping at the bit.
I mean, look, if Mertz is the starter and they go 3 and out against A&M on Saturday, everybody's going to be like, all right, Lagway time.
Yeah,
you said you're going to play them both. Let's play them both.
Yeah. Meanwhile, by the way, I thought Tom Block made an interesting point. If DJ Uiagalelei is not the quarterback, it's not Luke Kromenhoek. They're not getting him ready. It is Brock Glenn because he's been there a few years. He's older. You wonder why the long leash on DJ. Brock Glenn, his career stats are He's only thrown 51 passes, 19 completions.
Wow.
So his completion percentage is 37%. Now, in fairness, he got thrust into a game against one of the best teams you'll ever face in Georgia, and it was a tough challenge. And I get that. He was playing before he was ready. But numbers are what they are. His numbers were he was 19 of 51 for 37%. No touchdowns and 2 picks. Now, again, this is you're never playing that team again.
And again, that's one of those too where I think you have to almost be in the moment where, like, if they lose to Memphis and DJU doesn't play well, I don't think it's going to be Brock Glenn. I think they're going to go straight to Croman.
You do, because I wondered about that, but Tom, who goes to practice and knows him, was pretty clear. He was pretty clear that if it's not DJ, it's Brock Glenn.
And I'm
not
sure
Luke.
that's the intention now.
Yeah.
But I think,
hear you.
but it changes once you're 0-3.
I hear you.
And so, again, I don't think Brock Glenn. I'd be surprised if Mike Norvell views Brock Glenn as a player that he ever really wants to turn the keys over to.
Yeah.
Whereas he absolutely feels that way
with Luke.
With Luke Croman.
Yeah, Luke might be their next quarterback.
Yeah.
He's got every chance to be their next quarterback.
And look, if you're Mike Norvell, you've got a 10-year deal. So if you're 0-3, why not play Luke Croman because you know you're going to be at FSU for his entire career.
Right.
So might as well go ahead and get that valuable game experience now. If they drop, I don't think they're dropping to 0-3, but if it happens, I think you'd have to consider going straight to the true freshman.
I think is Blue going to be with us? I think Blue's going to be with us tomorrow about 3:20.
Oh, good.
He's going to stop.
No, that's every other week.
Oh, every other week.
Yes.
That's right. Last week he hosted, so he went. Okay, so he'll be here in 2 weeks. But when we do have him, I will ask him that because it's going to be interesting to see the way that whole thing.
We will have him in cross talking about 3 minutes.
That's right. So because I do think, and I'll ask him then. I think it's interesting who they play. Is it again? Tom Block was at Tom Block. In fact, it was funny. I said either Brock or Luke, and just to make a point.
Oh, he was emphatic.
And I hadn't asked him that. Yeah. He just jumped in and said, "Listen, just so you know, if it's not DJ, it's going to be Brock Glenn." And so, which was interesting.
Yeah, but plans change.
That's right. But it'll be interesting. Again, I'll say it again. The significance. Again, football is interesting. Here's why football is so wonderful, so hard. You lose a baseball game, you play tomorrow. You lose a basketball game, you play the day after tomorrow. You lose a football game, you got to wait a week. And everybody waits. The fans wait. The coaches wait. The dummies on sports radio like us, we wait.
And Florida State's had to wait 2 weeks.
Right, that's right. So, well, exactly. But that's what makes football so hard. I was thinking about this flying back on the Jaguar charter on Sunday. It was gut-wrenching for all of us, right? All of us that really wanted the Jaguars to win and are part of kind of the operation there. We're on the plane, you're thinking the hard thing is you can't go play tomorrow and fix it. You got 7 days, man. 7 days before you can go fix it. Before the Browns can't come to town on Tuesday. They're not coming till Sunday. And it's just that's what makes football awesome, right? But it makes football painful as hell when you lose.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, looking at the Jaguars, we're going to find out about this club's mettle. Like, what is this club made of? What is the mental toughness of this team? Because Cleveland is mentally tough. I mean, what they were able to do last year with Joe Flacco was very impressive. Defensively, they're outstanding. They are, again, we'll see. Their offensive line is really beat up, so we'll see if they get their 2 tackles back, or at least maybe get one of them back. But this is a good test for the Jaguars to find out. We know they have talent. We believe they have what should be a good football team, but they've got to go out and show that they can take down a team that has a reputation for being mentally tough, and if they don't, then that's going to be a really difficult start for the Jaguars.
The old cliche, Hayes, you can be good, but you have to learn to win, and you wouldn't think that was the case for a team that's won 9 games 2 years in a row. But you know what? After losing 5 of your last 6 last year and your first one this year, there is some you gotta feel it sometimes. Sometimes what do they say about sometimes with basketball players that if you're not shooting well, go shoot some layups just so you can see it go through the hoop.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Jags have to see it go through the hoop a few times, and I think once you do, things change a little bit. So, but again, the significance of this week's games: Florida with Billy Napier squarely on the hot seat, with every fan in the world pining for Lane Kiffin. The Florida State, a team that started the season ranked 10th and with all kind of playoff aspirations, starting 0-2, and here comes a pretty good passing team to play them. The Jaguars, who certainly have high expectations. They have an owner that said now's the time to win, and they start 0-1, and they've got two daunting road games coming up after that. If you look at the significance, these are really, they're not referendum games. It's too early for that.
Right.
But they are games for all three teams, man, games of real significance. Again, if you're a football fan around here, lock in at noon on Saturday, and then none of them conflict. Noon on Saturday is Memphis and Florida State. 3:30 on Saturday is Florida, Texas A&M. 1 o'clock on Sunday, it's Jags and Browns. And we'll, by about late afternoon on Sunday, we'll know where they all sit. If you think about it, we'll have a pretty good idea where they all sit, and it's good stuff.
There's some now or never for sure to varying levels, but with all three teams, now or never weekend.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
I just asked Tom Block.
Ooh.
If you didn't play DJ.
My mentor.
Yeah, if you didn't play, that's right. If you didn't play DJ, would you get Luke or Brock Glenn ready? He said it's clearly Brock Glenn.
Yeah.
And that the freshman's not even in play. That surprised you, or is that what you think too?
No, I'm not surprised. I watched 2 practices around here. When I watched him, I thought he threw the best ball.
Brock?
No,
Luke.
Yeah. But I only saw 2 practices.
Yeah, I get it.
And one was indoors in the flex field.
Yeah.
But I clearly believe he's the future, whether it's later this year, next year, or whatever it may be. Let's be honest here. Norvell wants to stay with DJU. He just hope he develops.
Yeah, no, that, and by the way, you're right. The way the team's built this year, the other two, it's not like there's a transfer backup. The 2 guys are young. He's got to play with DJU. So
no doubt about it. It's a big week over there. You got to win that game. Can you imagine what it's going to be like? I know we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
If he lets that one get away.
Well, Hays and I just talked about this. The significance of those 3 games.
Yeah.
Florida State plays Memphis. That if you lose that thing, oh my goodness, Florida's on the hot seat. And you're a home underdog, and who knows who you're playing at quarterback. And the Jags have a tough home game, and after they're 0-1 and road games against Buffalo and Houston, that's 3 games of significance, man.
Lagway, if he comes off the bench, so the spark he's going to create at the Swamp is just incredible. If Brock Glenn or Luke Kromenhoek, and it is clearly Brock Glenn, I think it'll be a rousing ovation, but it'll also be kind of like, fingers crossed. Let's hope he can complete a pass. You know what Lagway can do. So
I agree.
It's different there. So, hey, we got a heck of a – and there's so many other stories over there right now, not doing the war chant on 3rd down and all that stuff. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's dumb, by the way.
It's really bad. I know you talk with Block. I talk with 2 sources that I've had over there for a long time. You may have heard of them, Uncle Albert and Admiral Halsey.
Okay, I know them both.
And this is what they told me.
I know them together.
This is what they told me. Renegade's not going to be there on Saturday. Osceola's not going to be there on Saturday. What they're going to do is they're going to come out with a 1974 VW Volkswagen, and 18 clowns are going to fall out of it on the 50-yard line.
I'm with you. What's coming up tonight?
Tim Brando at 6:22, John Osher at 7.
Love them both. All right, the Rick Ballou. That comes up in just a bit. Folks, that's our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick Ballou goes into the night. Remember now, tomorrow, 2 to 4 tomorrow. Greg McGarity will be here at 2:40 talking Gator Bowl, and a whole lot more coming up on the program. We're out here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.